What you're looking at started as a single photo and a few credits on an image-to-STL AI generator, and it printed without any mesh repair, Blender cleanup, or any of the usual AI to 3D model catastrophes. I'm going to walk you through the exact tool that did it, show you the 3 modes that you actually need to know, and by the end, I'll explain why the team building this is not who the AI haters think they are. And before we go any further, it's very important that we set some realistic expectations, because I feel like a lot of people look at these AI softwares and they feel like they can just throw anything in there and they're supposed to get back this phenomenal 3D model and it's going to do all these tricks and give you this just perfect STL model. And honestly, that's just not the case. And I'm pretty sure you've heard the saying, trash in is trash out. Well, that applies here like 100%. Because it's super easy just to hit the optimize or generate button. But the biggest thing is the preparation. And that's with any AI, even with ChatGPT. If you give it a BS prompt, then you're gonna get BS back. No one AI can do everything well. Usually AI tools are trained on specific things and it does those things well, and there's other things that it can't do. Just like Hitum 3D, it's trained to do what it does well, but what it's not trained to do is symmetrical parts. And I've learned this from spending a lot of time using these image-to-STL AI softwares. Like this sandal, for example. I took a picture of it just to show that you're not going to be able to take a picture of a shoe and have it spit out a model that's going to fit your foot, or have it where it's symmetrical according to what you wanted it to be. Now, will we get there one day? I'm sure we will, but at this point, there's not a tool out there right now that you can just snap a picture of something and it's going to give you a symmetrically correct part. But what you can do is snap photos of things and get cool models out of it, like visually correct models such as a portrait of me, for example. So I'm going to walk you through how I get these results whenever I use it, and hopefully you'll be able to get the same results when you use it. And at the end, I'll share a code with you guys that pretty much make the software free initially when you first sign up. So I'm going to start off using the model version 2.1. This is their newest model, although they do have 2.0 and 1.5, each one kind of specializing in a different thing. But 2.1 will pretty much be the model where you use it the most because it's the fastest and it still has good detail. So a couple of things that I like to leave on is remove background and image enhancement. That always helps the image unless you don't want the background removed, which typically you will if you're doing a 3D model. And honestly, you should already have the background removed so it doesn't have to do it. But if you don't, it's there for you to use. So I brought in this image of me and we're going to use portrait mode. Make sure that you go from general here, that you click down to portrait mode. And then you're going to make sure you're on 2.1. Model type, this is going to be up to you. It just depends on if you're wanting a quality model or just something fast. So for here, we're going to do quality because I want a quality model. And for geometry, I'm going to make sure we have geometry plus texture. And then the license, I'm going to keep it private. That's totally up to you as well. And then for output face counts, I just leave it here at the default. But if you don't want it to take as long and you need a little less detail, you can bump it down to like 1,000,000 or something. So these here, these are automatically enabled. You can't change those. This automatically repairs the model. And this one generates UV maps for the model so textures can be applied correctly. Without UVs, the manual texture editing, it's pretty much impossible. So you've got texture settings here. We're going to do texture mode, and vertex color mode is what I like to use because vertex color mode is better for 3D printing, so they say. So that's what I've used and I've had good luck with that. Reduce shading intensity. If you have a model that has a bunch of dark spots, you can actually slide this up or down to help eliminate some of those shaded spots that might not come out very good on your model. PBR, for what I'm doing, we don't need that. So we can save those 5 credits that it would have charged us. So we're going to go ahead and hit generate on this. As you can see here, my image has 0 background noise. It's a very clean image. It's a 4K image, and that's pretty crucial whenever you're doing things like this. In order to get good results, you need a clean image. Okay, here we go. As you can see, it came out really good. This one over here on the left, you can see it was done in quality using portrait mode, and we have the 1536 resolution.
And also, if you look on the back here, look at the generation that it did for the back. Now keep in mind, the image I uploaded, it had no idea what the back was going to look like, and it did a really good job. It even gave me a little fade back here on the haircut. But had this not came out very well, you can go right down here to retry. You get 3 free retries. And then down here you also have segmentation, where you can actually break your model up into parts. And then a really cool feature that I want to show you guys right here is edit. You can go and actually edit the model. They have a sculpt mode here where you can actually just change how the model looks. You can stretch the face. You've got painting mode here where you can do painting. And then if you go in here to parts, you can actually create a base. So if I'm doing like a little statue that's going to sit on a table, and then you also can cut the model. So you can go here, and if you go up here, I'm going to do it on the Y right here. I can do it straight up and down like that. And then you can flip it if you want to cut it from the bottom. And let's say I just wanted to keep, you know, the shoulders. I didn't want all this rest of the body. You can just go there and you can do that. We're going to exit out of there. You can actually repair and auto fix the mesh if you're having issues there. And then decimate will reduce the face count. That way when you go to print it, it's not such a complex model and it's not going to take forever. They also have a measuring tool here that you can actually measure the model with, which is pretty cool. Now if you go in here to edit, you have the Boolean tool. Right here in the node, it tells you you can create a primitive and combine it with the model via Boolean operations. So basically it joins whatever primitive you have here, it'll join it to the model for you. Now going back over here, we're going to export this model, but let's say you just wanted to send it to the slicer. They also have slicer plugins here, which is really cool. They have all the major slicers. And then over here, you can export in several different formats. We're going to use STL, but you could pick 3MF, OBJ, GLB, whatever you wanted to pick. And then here, if you actually wanted to share it, it looks like you can get a couple hundred credits just for sharing it. So that's pretty cool.
And while that's 3D printing, we're going to go back over here and we're going to generate another model. So assets are models that you've already generated, and I'm pulling one up in real time. Once you've generated it, it doesn't take long for them to pull back up. Now this one I generated using fast, and I wasn't using portrait mode. I just used general and fast, and you'll see once I show you the one that I generated using portrait mode, you'll see the difference. Now the crazy part is they're both 1536 Pro resolution, both using the 2.1 model, one on quality portrait, the other one on general fast. And on the quality portrait mode, you can see more finer definition in the details. The other one's a little more blurry, I guess you'd say. But honestly, fast mode comes in handy because I used fast mode on this pot and I didn't care if it came out exactly like the image, so there was no point in wasting credits on quality, so I used fast. And as you can see, it got some of the details a little bit wrong, and that's okay because I didn't care. I just wanted the overall model to be the pot, the same shape and hollow, ready to basically 3D print and use. And as you can see, it's hollow and it's ready to 3D print. Matter of fact, I 3D printed all of these models just so you could see. So let's check those out. So this one I printed in a 0.16 layer height, and I also used adaptive layer height. That's why the tops of their heads came out pretty smooth. And I also added text. So there's things in the slicer obviously that you can do to make them come out even better. Now this one I use vase mode, and as you can see around the rim right there, it didn't come out all that great, but that was on me. But on this one, I just added supports and did it at like a 8% infill, and it came out just fine. Now obviously Hitum 3D is not the only image to STL tool out there. You got Tripo and Meshy and tools like that. And honestly, when you visit any of them, they all kind of look the same. They have a place to upload an image or put in some text, and then they have all these features for mesh and texture and segmentation, right? But what made Hitum stand out for me, honestly, was the portrait mode. The difference it made when using portrait mode was pretty big for me, and especially the 1536 resolution that you're getting as well. And that's just something that the other ones, as far as I know, aren't offering. But my favorite of all the features has got to be the slicer plugins. I love that. I love being able to just do the modeling, and then go down and send it off to the slicer. To me, that's super sick, and I love that. But honestly, they're all gonna have their little unique perks that they do well. For me, Hitom 3D was more consistent on producing high quality meshes with high resolution on the models. I didn't find myself bringing the model into Mesh Mixer every single time trying to clean up stuff or fix defects and stuff like that. And I also love the fact that they have the Blender plugin, and it's easy to set up as well. The Blender plugin is exactly why I said what I said in the beginning. I don't think these companies are trying to push out designers in any way. I feel like they're trying to provide a tool so designers will use their platform, because why else would they include a Blender plugin? Who uses Blender? Designers. So go find one that works for you. If you want to check out Hitom 3D, you can use code STAYREADY and you'll get a free 500 credits to go play around with and see if you like it. Maybe it works for your workflow, or maybe it doesn't, who knows? But 500 credits on me, you go check it out, and until next time, stay ready to 3D print. See you in the next one.